the Ninth Circuit just said lie to a jury in the Branford case.
Your Honor,
so
Your
I
Honor,
want to
Your
hear
Honor,
about him.
one more thing out of him, and we air everything that's happened in this case, which the court's aware of.
Stop it.
He might want to stop.
I'm so correct.
You should be, Joe.
Let's take a break.
You should be.
That the board don't do. There's no evidence. No evidence that there was a shooting or an operable firearm. And number 10, given that Relly told you he can lie whenever he wants, you saw him commit perjury multiple times. Relly told you he will commit perjury when he doesn't want to answer a question. How can you trust Relly with a matter of importance in your life, the life of a loved one, or the life you sit in judgment of? I don't know how they answer those questions. They can't. I will leave these 10 questions right here. We'll see if you get answers. I don't think so. You have the capacity to transform his very dark 3.5 years into a bright tomorrow. You have that capacity. You have the power in your hands. It's up to you now. We're going to pass the baton to you now, or very soon anyway. And you will do the right thing, I'm sure of it. You made that commitment for justice. You'll do the right thing. I will go someday on to other cases, no doubt. Mr. Lewin, Mr. Siegel, Mr. Briswoman, Mr. Kaplan. We will, Judge Arnold will try another case one day, I hope. But this is Rocky's one day in court. By your decision, you control his very life in your hands. Treat it carefully. Treat it fairly. Be fair. Do the right thing. Remember the testimony of Terrell Efron and ask yourselves if you would trust him with any matter of importance in your life. And if the answer is no, you can't trust him with a matter of importance in his life. The case rises and falls as you just saw with him. All you can do is try and get Rocky's life back. Imagine living under despicable accusation. 3.5 years. Facing what he's facing, knowing he didn't do a thing wrong. It's been my privilege, my absolute privilege, and honor to represent someone that I admire as much as this man. And I thank his amazing family for putting their trust in me. You ask questions in jury selection that if you had a doubt, would you have any problem saying not guilty? Would you have the courage to say not guilty? Did you have the mental fortitude to walk back into this courtroom if they failed to prove him guilty? You have the courage to walk back in here and say, we find him not guilty. You all said you could do that. You all said it. That's why you were picked. That's why the 16 of you are here. You know that was part of your job. You said you could do it. I'm going to hold you to that, and I hope you hold yourselves to it. That's what makes this system great. Your courage, your willingness to stand up for what's right. Look, this courtroom says Mark S. Arnold, Judge. He's the judge. Judge Arnold's courtroom. But when it comes to the facts in this case, it's your court. When it comes to what's right in this case, it's your court. When it comes to what's fair in this case, it's your court. No one will take that from you. This is your court right now. I'm going to tell you something. What happened here isn't right. Think about that. Because if the message was going to be sent out, that proof like this is enough to convict one of us, one of our citizens, none of us have a chance. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your patience. Thank you, Ron.
Take a break.
In my own, that I promised you I was going to bring in pictures of ills to show you. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't make promises I can't keep. And I promise you, I never said that in my opening statement. As a matter of fact, they get to go again after I come. I will not object if they put my opening statement up.
No, that's improper.
Sustained. Sustained.
Show me anywhere where I promised pictures of ills. I never did. But that was argued to you yesterday. And why would they take pictures of Bill's bloody lip on November 6, 2021, just in case there was a trial in 2025? Okay, let's watch that defense exhibit EE. You'll see everything Schwalbe described in the video. That Relly acted as the aggressor, that he repeatedly hit Ills. Only after that, Rocky tried to defend Ills by firing the first warning shot. Sergeant Cook sort of suggested on his body cam. You see his arm extending to fire the props when you hear the sound. It's clear and obvious. You had a live witness who was also there. Let's look at it now. This is the REE. There's Rocky, there's 12E, there's Ills, and then there's Relly. And you see him going after, then boom. Second shot. Boom, boom. You see Relly still going after Ills. Still going after Ills. Rocky's gone. 12 is about to go. Ills is stuck in the upper left-hand corner there. Watch Relly go back after him one more time left before he goes right. Ills running away, he falls. And then Relly goes off to the right. Now, we have to break that down a little slower. It's very fast what happens. Again, guys, when you're deliberating, you get to see this. Judge, they get back in the room with them? Or? Yeah?
Is it what?
Does this get to go back in the room with them, the video?
Yeah.
Oh, good. So, you can see as much as you want, as long as you want, as slow as you want, as fast as you want. But look, that didn't stop Relly. I'm not defending yet. What you see is him repeatedly hitting Ills, move towards Schwalbe, and trying to hit it. And look, you see Relly literally cocking his arm back and slugging Ills. I'm going to try and show it to you here. I'm going to get that pointer. I'm going to sit in this chair so I don't block you all in the back. Can everyone back there see? Yep, big head. Okay. Wow. Be gentle on the screen. There's Rocky. There's 12E. There's Ills. And there's Relly. And boom, he's going after him. Look at him. He's tussling him. There's the first shot. There's the second. And look at his arm going back and forth here. Can you go back for a second, guys? Look, you see the arm going back and forth. Go back one more time, guys. A little further. Please, thank you. Watch his arm. Boom, and you see the head of Ills there, going back and forth. And why does 12 tell you he ran? One more time, guys, please. He said he sees Relly coming at him, and he has that something hernia, inguinal hernia, whatever that is, and he couldn't fight. Watch. He's right there. Then he sees him coming, and he runs because he can't fight. Look. It's over. Why is he still fighting? And he just knocks those down. DA cuts off this part. Boom. One more. Good graces, and then he goes to the right and leaves. Well, the good news is you get to take that back in the video. The jury room, I didn't know that. So that's good. You can see as many times as you want. Whatever speed you want. Stop it wherever you want. I encourage you to do that. That's the defense exhibit EE. That's the right time. You see, Jack, we do it one more time, just that shot part. It's what Charlie told you, but again, you have eyes. Rocky's arm goes like that. That's where the shot is. I really described that. That's what he was doing. He was shooting down, he said. It's after Relly attacks him. Boom, he's hitting Ills. Boom, and you hear the shot. Ladies and gentlemen, there's no real question that Relly was the aggressor here. The video from 16 Visa Del Mar makes that perfectly clear. Perfectly clear. The real video, not the rough one that was off by a second, that makes the shooting all look ridiculous. I mean, their video, you hear a shot, and then Rocky shoots. That's the video that captures what happened. 12 narrated for you. Your eyes can tell you. He wasn't using Hills as a human shield. He wasn't underneath or behind Hills. He was on top of Hills. That's not how you use a human shield. And 12 told you that he told Rocky to leave because of the noise, because of his status as a high-profile person. And Rocky ultimately left, but still, after that, Relly continued to attack Hills. They, as mentioned to you, they cut off their video, so you didn't see that anymore. Hoping no one knows. Let's play their video real quick. Can we play theirs? This is their video. Watch what's cut off at the end. Rocky's going. Well, he said he's checking to make sure it was okay. Then he runs. That's it. 1616 Vista Del Mar. 1616 Vista Del Mar is cut off. Go back one more time, just where it gets cut off. Combined surveillance video. That's the one. What you know happens next is Relly, they're out of the picture now. Relly goes back and hits Hills again. 12 can describe that for you. Why did that not make it into this video? Go ahead. Boom. Because I think this chair is little. There's a nail sticking out, by the way. Just so you know.
That wasn't me.
I know that wasn't you, John. That one I don't blame. Is there a bill I can send for this suit that you sent? Literally, is a nail sticking out. Anyway, don't worry about it. Don't be sitting there. Not good. Okay. Anyway, the video, folks, the video itself by itself is reasonable doubt. It's a reasonable doubt in this case. Another reasonable doubt. The prosecution must prove beyond a reasonable doubt that he did not act reasonably, Rocky. It has to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that he did not act in self-defense of another. If you have any questions in your mind as to whether he acted in self-defense or defense of another, if you have some doubt or some concern that he just may have acted in defense of himself or another, you have to stop. Not guilty.
It's a statement of the law. It's true.
Does it say you are?
Yeah, it's what you said. It's not.
I'm sorry?
It's what you said. It's not accurate. Here's a jury instruction that's already been given to you, and this applies to everybody. You must follow the law as I explained it to you, even if you disagree with it. If you believe that the attorney's comments on the law conflict with my instructions, you must follow my instructions.
But I think I understand what Mr. Lewin's objection was. I mean, actually, he was right. I said some doubt. It's not some doubt. It's a reasonable doubt.
That is right.
It's a reasonable. Okay, there we go. Thank you. No swap. So if you have a reasonable doubt that he may have acted in self-defense of another, you have to stop. Okay? And the judge, again, will define to you what that is. Even if you get that far, because you should, because the evidence is so overwhelming, that was wrong. If there's a possibility he acted in self-defense, you must find him not guilty. Rocky, now we got to address this. Rocky didn't testify in this case. When you heard the judge's instructions about that the defendant has a constitutional right not to testify, we spoke to some of you in jury selection about that. And that decision is not to be considered during your deliberations. With that said, during your deliberations, keep in mind that there was nothing more said than what was already explained to you by both our witnesses, who were berated and yelled at for a long time, hours. You heard from 12B, who explained what happened that night, and Rocky carrying the prop gun. You heard from Lou Levin, who explained how Rocky got possession of the prop gun, why he carried it, and where it went. There was really nothing more, aside from the video, 12B and Lou, for Rocky to have added to the truth about
No,
what
that's an
happened.
improper argument.
It's just a-
And, of course, Detective Flores told you law enforcement didn't have a chance to speak to Rocky after he was arrested. And, of course, there's no idea.
That misstates the
No,
evidence.
who didn't say they didn't have a chance to?
Do not debate.
You just said misstates the evidence.
As I said yesterday, I don't know what the evidence is. I don't think anybody remembers every word of every witness. If this is something significant, as I mentioned yesterday, you can ask the court reporter to read it back. The court reporter will have every word that has been spoken. Go ahead.
Anyway, of course, Detective Flores had no idea what was said by Rocky to his attorneys back in 2022 when he was arrested. And ever since.
That's also an improper argument. Overall side of the evidence.
In any event, there's absolutely nothing new, as they're trying to suggest. And look, they also brought up something that I now have to address, that Rocky had an outburst, so to speak, in trial. Okay? Knowing that he's innocent, he had to sit here and listen for more than 3 weeks, listen to
No,
Relly.
this is improper argument.
No, it's addressing what Mr. Krisloman had brought up in his argument. Overruled.
He had to sit here for more than 3 weeks listening to Relly say the most horrific, most offensive things about him in messages, calling him horrific names. He didn't say a word. He sat in silence. Always composed and respectful to this court and to you all. At some point during a minor, unrelated question, unrelated to November 6, 2021, Ms. Loon was asking 12E the meaning of an acronym in Rocky's bedroom. Rocky did something he wasn't proud of saying. Don't say. It had to do with his kids. It was personal to his children. And he asked not to say, okay. He regrets doing that.
Your Honor, there's no evidence in this.
Can you read that back?
Mr. Malone was asking for the meaning of the acronym. And Rocky did something that it was private. He said, don't say it. It had to do with his kid. It was personal to his children. He asked him not to say it. That's it.
The jury heard what the question was. The jury heard what Mr. Mayers said. Leave it at that.
Look,
Go on.
that had absolutely nothing to do with the facts of this case, the truth, what happened on November 6, 2021, whether he carried a prop gun, he didn't commit a crime. And the fact that they actually argued that to you in their summation is indicative of just how desperate they are at this point. That was something worth mentioning to you in their summation. Let's talk about the crime of extortion by Relly. That was actually proven in this trial.
Your Honor, that's an improper argument.
Overruled.
For legal conclusion, crime.
Overruled.
That's why Rocky told Relly in a text message that night, go to the police. Go to the police. But Relly didn't, not until he got civil lawyers 2 days later, because it was never his intention to go to the police. You heard that loud and clear. Instead, his end game was always to take Rocky's money based on false accusations. That was always his intention. And that's why that night, instead of getting the police involved, Relly, according to him, with his shell casing that he claims he found, texted the photos of his shell casings and knuckle scrapes to Rocky's manager, John Heyman, saying he was going to be rich. And that following message was sent to his own business partner, Justin Benea, saying, I want to get this end's money within minutes. That was in his mind. And you heard Relly complain in bitterness how Rocky didn't give him opportunities. So when the opportunity presented itself on November 6th, 2021, Relly jumped all over it. Right from the beginning, Relly tried to get Rocky's money. Right from the beginning, without going to the police, without even going to a civil lawyer. But you know what was never asked on cross-examination, not even once? Is the tape fake? Is the tape fake? Did you doctor the tape? Not even once. By the way, the tape they spent, I don't know, the portion of the estimation playing for you yesterday, we provided to them. We provided them that tape. That they think it's so helpful to them. They know those tapes are death. Death to their case. First of all, their main witness once again committed perjury on a most important issue in this case. Those are fake. He said fake. Get those away. He's a clown. Those tapes are death to Relly's claim and his credibility in their case. As Wallace and Jimmy made clear that anything but fake, you heard Relly tell him that you ask for a bag without a lawyer, bro, it's called extortion.
You know what I'm saying? You ask for a bag without a lawyer, bro, it's called extortion. You feel me?
Well, that's exactly
You
what
do everything accordingly.
That's exactly what Relly did. Because he didn't have a lawyer until November 8th, 2021, after he already tried to ask for money from Rocky and his manager. And after Relly lied about what he just told Wallace and Jimmy, we called Mrs. Jimmy just to establish the authenticity of those recordings. Nothing more. He knew nothing about this case. And because of the evidentiary rules, we were only allowed to ask Mrs. Jimmy about statements that Relly denied making.
No, that is not true. Overruled.
So we had those 5 questions that we had asked him. Did he say this? Did he say this? Did he say this? That's it. The prosecution played other parts of the recordings afterwards. And it wasn't a gotcha moment. It's repeating those tapes. At the time of their discussions, remember this, the Wallace and Jimmy discussions, that was in 2022, after Rocky's arrest already, after he filed his civil suit with Relly. They were about the events of November 6, 2021. They were of no significance at all what Relly said to him at that point regarding November 6th, at all. Because he had already been arrested, Rocky. Relly had already been telling his story for months. His family, I'll do 2 more minutes, just tell me when to stop.
And we're going to take a break.
As a quick aside, you heard, by the way, the prosecution questioned Relly about telling the police he heard 3 to 4 shots, but only giving them 2 shell casings before having seen the videos, as if somehow that makes him more credible. That makes no sense. He was there, of course. He knew he was 2 shots. By this time, he already saw the video. He knows it's 2 shots. And in fact, he would exaggerate when speaking to the police. Does not make him more credible. By the way, when we talked to Wally, he had up to 5 shots. He had up to 5 shots when we talked to Wally. So before Relly went to the police, even before he went to a civil lawyer, you saw the messages he sent trying to get Rocky's money. Part of his plan to extort Rocky, Relly sent a text message to him, falsely accusing Rocky of trying to kill him. Obviously, Rocky knew that was false and was shocked that Relly would even make the claim, so which is why Rocky wrote him back. I tried to what? Stop making shit up. He wrote him back. And now the prosecution has alluded to the fact that during this trial, Rocky didn't mention in his message anything about his prop gun. They don't consider one thing, though, about that. They don't consider one thing. Unlike Relly, Rocky didn't have a reason at the time he sent that message about stop making shit up. He didn't have a reason at the time, or think he needed a reason, to create a record of events for some later date. At the time he sent those messages, Rocky thought they were between the 2 of them. And he knew why Relly understood his claim wasn't true, because it wasn't true. Rocky didn't shoot him, and was aware that Relly knew he didn't shoot him, because a prop gun doesn't shoot bullets. A Star pistol doesn't shoot bullets.
TACOPINA.
Yes, sir.
It's time.
Okay.
You want to finish the thought?
If I could, just a thought.
Finish the thought, and then we'll take a
And then
break.
it's a perfect place to break. And that's why after learning soon thereafter that Relly was contacting his manager trying to extort money from him, Rocky was done communicating with Relly. He stopped answering completely and said, go to the police. And what kind of person tells someone to go to the police if they know they've committed a crime? Your Honor, I could resume from here and we come back.
All right, we'll take a
Close
break
to the end.
until 11 o'clock, folks. Please don't discuss the case amongst yourselves and everybody else. I want to tell you that when I make a mistake, I own it. I have no problem admitting when I made a mistake, and I made a mistake, and I'm going to tell you what the mistake was. Mr. TACOPINA mentioned, and I missed this, the prosecution accepts their witness committing perjury. I missed that. There was an objection. I don't believe it. I didn't hear the whole statement. I'm not accusing anybody of doing it proper, but that statement puts the prosecutors in an unfair light, and that was improper. I overruled the objection. I should have sustained it. I don't want any side being disparaged or being put in a false light. So I made that mistake. I own it. I apologize.
Thank you. Two things. One, by the way, I realized something. I said before that Mr. Efron said he'd seen the video previously when he said there were 2 shots. What I was talking about was when he was speaking to Wally. He had already seen the video. This was obviously after Rocky's arrest and after the civil suit was filed. So I wasn't suggesting he saw the video when he went to the police on November 8th, in case that came out unclear. My co-counsel thought it did. So anyway, now we're back on the Wally's Jimmy case. Look, all I'm saying is this. Their witness said those are fake. They played it as if they were real. So, whatever that means. But here, I'm going to go back to the crux of the Wallace and Jimmy case, what we were allowed to play because they impeached the testimony of Efron. And what I argued to you, and I'll say again, is the only crime that was proven here was Relly's extortion. He heard it from his own mouth. And he boasted to Mrs. Jimmy that he was getting $30 million. He said, I already know I'm getting 30 M's. And I told you at the beginning of this case, I said in the opening, that there would be clear evidence of extortion, and here it is.
You know what I'm saying? You ask for a bag without a lawyer first for extortion. Feel me? He's gonna have to deal with that and his political ties and everything else. Because once I walk away, when I get my cash, the case gets way weaker. It's just like a domestic violence case. If you was to hit your bitch and your bitch was to keep on going through with the situation, you go down. But if you're not there, then you're going against the state and it's way weaker.
Stop for a second before we play the second. You know, what he's saying is obviously he's going to trade his cash for the case. He's selling the criminal case. So he'll get his cash and he'll disappear. The example he uses, the analogy he uses, is disgusting. Of course, that's who Harold Efron is. He's talking about a domestic violence case, and he references hitting. He said you're a bitch, but that's how his mind thinks. That's his example that he could come up with. But it really just goes to show you who he is and how despicable he is. That was the example he gave. But what he's saying here is, I get my cash, I'm gone. I get them. Play the next one, please.
If I'm not there, if he pays me out through my lawsuit, I'll walk away. Basically,
and then it's gonna be your case.
Because I'm gonna be on another island. Just relax. You get what I'm saying? They're gonna be scrambling to find me because now they have to go against Rocky, the state, and here they have evidence and this and that. But it's not gonna be the same when you present it to a jury and you don't have a complaining witness.
That's it. Game, set, and match. That's extortion. That's him trying to sell a criminal case for $30 million. That he will go to an island, be relaxing, if he gets his money. Too bad for them. They'll have to go look for him. They have to find him. Imagine poor Detective Flores having to go search around, looking for Harold Efron as he's on an island sipping pina coladas somewhere. Where he's 30 million. That's it. That's evidence of extortion. It's his mindset. He doesn't care about this. He just wants money. And you're his vehicle. The only reason, and by the way, this transcript's a little tough to read, I think, right? But you'll have to go back with you, and you'll have the transcripts. But again, remember, the only reason he's not on some island somewhere relaxing, and we're all here in this courtroom, is because Rocky refused to be a victim of his extortion demands. It's that simple. And that's why he's using this trial, really, using these prosecutors. Now he's trying to use you to get him his money. Because he knows that a conviction here will get him what he really wants in this civil case. That's it. This isn't about justice for him. It's about a payout and a payback. My last quote of some of the greats in our history, I love using some of the words of our founding fathers, Thomas Jefferson, said an injured friend is the bitterest of foes. We saw that come here, live and in color. Lest there be any questions about his true intentions, consider this. He sent an article, and you heard this testimony, to Wally Sajek on December 24th, 2024, just before this trial started, entitled, Rihanna Fears Heartbreaking Consequence of ASAP Rocky's Trial. And he sent it with a smiley face. A smiley face. This parasite is happy if he can hurt that family, that woman, and her family by sending a smiley face. That's funny. That's funny. Because she fears the heartbreaking consequence of this trial. So he doesn't care about this trial. He just wants his money. He wants to be on an island relaxing. And he's laughing and mocking what he can do to Rihanna family. And he needs you to get that done. Ladies and gentlemen, the prosecution has not proven this case not by a long shot. It's not even, this literally, I'm not telling you what to do, this could be a 5-minute verdict. You take as much time as you need. I'm not trying to impede on your province. The only thing proven beyond a reasonable doubt is that this really is a pathological liar, a perjurer, and an extortionist. That's proven beyond a reasonable doubt. And they know that. They know that because they asked Detective Flores the question that I just never heard. I used to be a prosecutor. It was a question that they asked.
That's improper argument.
Sustain
Withdraw.
that they know it's perjury.
Sustain. You used to be a prosecutor, Your Honor. It's not part of the evidence.
What was the saying?
What?
I'm sorry, what was the saying, sir? What was the saying? I didn't. What part?
That they know it's perjury.
I didn't say they knew. I didn't say they knew. I said what was proven beyond a reasonable doubt. He's a pathological liar, a perjurer, and a source. Didn't say they knew. I understand the court's rulings.
You know, we objected regarding discussing him being a prosecutor.
Okay.
It's not part of the evidence in the case.
All right. So, anyway,
Sustain that testimony.
what they know, they asked Detective Flores this question. Would you agree, Detective Flores, that you don't need Mr. Efron's truthful testimony to establish a shooting occurred? Well, first of all, you do need it. You do. Remember, after breaking it down with Detective Flores, he made it clear to you they have nothing without him. We broke it down with him. We'll show you that transcript in a second. So you definitely need him, but he's just not credible. Why the heck do you think they asked that question? And think about what that question screams out to you in the jury. Hey, this is still true. No, it's not okay. No, it's not okay. I've talked about there not being any forensic evidence in this case, no fingerprints, no DNA, there's none. No independent evidence outside of Tyrell. And ladies and gentlemen, the judge told you it only takes one lie under oath to throw this case out of court by you, if you choose. Your decision. But just one lie. It's justification for you to say, I disregard all his testimony. You can't even count the number of lies he told under oath in this case. You can't. He lied directly, he lied to your face, he lied under oath over and over, he exaggerated, he gave runaround answers to try and avoid questions, he verbally assaulted me, he cursed in the courtroom, he threw a water bottle, flexed his muscles, he said he had enough, he was going to leave. How many does it take for you to know that this case is a fraud? To use Relly's own words, Relly's a fake. Profit of extorting a second. Just waiting for one thing, your verdict. Then he's got it. And if they come up and say, well, Relly's not on trial, that thought crosses your mind. It's true, he's not on trial, but he should be. He should be. Perjury, extortion. But he's not on trial. But what is on trial is his credibility. His credibility is on trial. And that you have to assess, and you get to assess. You must assess. The trial rises and falls on his word. With that in mind, again I ask, what kind of system do we have if we pick on the word of that man? That man. With all you know about him. The issue in this case is the life, future, and liberty of Rocky. And that's what will be placed in your hands very shortly. And the question I have you before you very simple. Do you believe Tyrell Efron beyond a reasonable doubt? I'm going to keep saying that because it's really what you need to discuss, is beyond a reasonable doubt or not. If you don't, Rocky has to go free and go home. He has to. Submit upon this testimony you've heard, the perjury you've witnessed, the lies you've seen, the destruction of pieces of evidence you've observed, the fabrication of others, Mr. Efron's trustworthiness. There's no way in the world that you can find that he's trustworthy beyond a reasonable doubt. There's no way. On the important issues in this case, so he wants to lie about it. He lied about everything. He lied about the important issues. And if you can't do that, if anything they said to you, if anything they presented caused you to pause or wonder what really happened, if you have a doubt, a reasonable doubt, Rocky must be acquitted. He must be. That's our legal system. You just witnessed extortion demands throughout the trial of Efron, the lies, the hiding of evidence, the lie about being in Los Angeles 2 weeks before this incident with 9 million shell casings, on and on and on. And if you think he was lying about these important issues, the prosecution's case fails. Fails. So it's very simple, ladies and gentlemen. If you do not believe Tyrell Efron beyond reasonable doubt, he must be acquitted. That's the law. A defendant in a criminal case is presumed innocent until the contrary is proved. In this case, it's not been proven. In the case of reasonable doubt, whether guilt is satisfactorily shown, until it is, he's entitled to be acquitted. And the presumption placed upon the people that heavy burden of proving guilt beyond reasonable doubt. And why is that standard called beyond reasonable doubt? Why? Look, there are many, I just want to give you some sort of analogies on this, but there are many legal systems around the world who don't have this proof beyond a reasonable doubt standard. They don't use juries, they use judges 1, 2, 3, sometimes 4. But our country has a philosophy, and that is we cannot convict people who are innocent. We cannot ruin their lives because what happens is so harmful, devastating, brutal, based on anything but the strongest evidence. And what is being attempted here is so harmful, so brutal, so potentially devastating to him. That's why there's such a high standard. Standard is higher than what you find in civil cases when you have disputes over money or property. If you have a reasonable doubt about this case, about the testimony, about the double talk, about the lies, the perjury, the manipulation of evidence, the destruction of evidence, Efron's motives, it's over. It's over. Beyond the reasonable doubt, you'll quickly realize that the case is transparent. And false. And false. We prove real hard things to you. Things you can see, things you can take back to that jury room. In light of this, you have to find Rocky not guilty. And when I concluded, and for Mr. Lewin's convenience, I should decide to deal with these very troublesome questions. I'm going to leave him the written list up here of questions when I conclude. Let's see if he wants to go through them with you or not, but I'm going to show you those 10 questions. Here they are. Let me go over them with you one by one, very briefly. Question number 1. Other than Relly's word, what evidence is there that he photographed shell casings at the scene? Okay, there is none. We know that. Because even though they had photographs from his phone, they didn't get the metadata. So it was shown where those photos were taken. We also know they didn't get his GPS location at 11:45 that was shown where he was when he took those photos. Number 2, other than Relly's word, what evidence is there that the shell casings even came from the scene? No evidence other than his word. Lydia Parker's not here. Just talk about the metadata and the GPS location. Third question I asked him to answer. Other than Relly's word, what evidence is there that he even went back to the scene? Because now we know he swears that at 11:09, that's not him. That's not him anymore. And there is no video of him going back to the scene. So now we're left with his word again. Because they got Ill's GPS location, but not Relly's. Number 4. Other than Relly's word, what evidence is there that he ever left Los Angeles after going to the shooting range, shooting off 9mm, by the way, 2 weeks before the incident? Again, it's just his word that he left Los Angeles 2 weeks before. So he took a flight, and he took a flight back. That would have been a very easy one to prove. But we just have his word. Number 5. Other than Relly's word, what evidence is there that the scrapes on his knuckles were gunshot wounds? You didn't have to comment on that. Number 6. Other than Relly's word, what evidence is there that a conversation ever happened on November 5th, to set the tone for November 6th, between ASAP Bari and Rocky? Other than his word. There was no ASAP Bari, there's no phone records, so we just have to take Relly's word that that happened. Number 7. In light of Lou Levin's testimony, in light of Lou Levin and 12B's unimpeached testimony, other than Relly's word, what evidence is there that Rocky did not carry from him, other than Relly's word? There's none. No evidence of a shooting. Nothing from either video says that's not a problem. None. Number 8. Other than Relly's word, what evidence is there that he was shot by an operable semi-automatic firearm? Again, other than his word, no evidence whatsoever. Number 9, this one's my personal favorite. Number 9. How is it that you do not need Relly's truthful testimony, remember that question, to establish a shooting occurred when Detective Flores told you, A, the parking garage video does not show an operable gun. That's his testimony. So let me break it down this way. Video 1 alone, you don't know if the gun's operable, correct? Correct. B, The video from 1616 Beasts Del Mar does not show if there's any gun at all. The answer to that was specifically just looking at that and not looking at anything else, no. Well, that's the video. Just looking at that, no. And C, the sound heard on the video from 6200 Hollywood Boulevard may have come from a replica firearm, according to Detective Flores. So, no evidence of an operable gun in one video. No evidence of the gun at all, or any shooting in the second video. And the pop, according to that case detective, could have come from a replica. So, do you need Relly's testimony? Because if you just don't have it, if you take it out, like was suggested in that question, Detective Flores told you there's no evidence. No evidence.
Do not mention the prosecution's verdict. Here's a quote. On an objection, you overrule it. The prosecution accepts their witness committing perjury. It's improper, it's unethical, you said you're not going to tolerate it, and I object, and you make it clear to the jury that my objection you find annoying. It's very clear that the tone that we get when we make an objection that should be sustained is, what are you doing? That's what was said. You specifically...
Lower your voice and don't yell at me. I told you before, I'll listen to what you say, speak in a normal tone of voice.
Judge, we're doing the best we can to make sure that this trial is ethically conducted. They have repeated it. I've objected, you told them it's improper. You overruled repeated objections where they are saying improper things. He just said a moment ago, this is a direct quote, the prosecution accepts their witness committing perjury. I object. You respond, that's appropriate comment on the evidence. It is not appropriate comment on the evidence, Your Honor. I don't know if you didn't hear it.
I didn't hear that.
So, Judge,
What I heard, I could have been wrong, what I heard was that Mr. TACOPINA was describing Relly as committing perjury.
Judge, that's a direct quote. The direct quote was, the prosecution accepts their witness committing perjury. Here's another one. Relly committed extortion. There is no legal...
Do you think the jury's going to ask for what the legal description of extortion is?
Your Honor.
Forcing someone to pay money, that is, quote, extortion.
Your Honor.
Go on to something else.
Your Honor, I want to make my record. I mean, you're going to do what you're going to do, but I have a right to make my record. No lawyer can get up here, no lawyer can get up here and tell the jury that a crime has been committed when there is no instruction on that crime. When in fact, Your Honor, that's not the legal definition of extortion. We've objected, and the court again is basically telling me, don't worry about it, it doesn't matter. Your Honor, it does matter. After a while, when there are so many of these things, they add up. And when the court is saying, wow, what they don't care about it.
No, I didn't say they don't care about it.
It seems, Your Honor, it's improper argument. And the problem is...
I don't agree with you. I think using the word, quote, extortion to describe the conduct is not improper. I think it's fair comment on the evidence. You, in your rebuttal argument, you can say it wasn't extortion. You can address it.
Your Honor, the bigger issue, as I said, is the court repeatedly told them, do not connect the prosecution to committing crime.
I'll tell you what, I didn't hear that. I'm going to ask Kathy for the exact quote. If that's what was said, I'm going to sustain your objection, and I will apologize for overruling.
Judge, can I respond, please, on that one issue? Not everything else you said. What I said was, and I agree where I said it, but understand the context of it, okay? I didn't say this is more perfect. I didn't say it yesterday, I didn't say it today. The one thing I said, and it was fair comment, was the prosecution accepts their witness committing perjury. And what I mean by that is in regards to one thing, and it's indisputable, Your Honor. It was regarding Relly saying the tape was fake. The tape was fake. They got up, cross-examined Mr. Sajemi, did not ask him if the tape was fake or not. Okay? They then put up transcripts of that tape recording with attributions to Mr. Efron. So that means by that, just by that very fact, they accept the fact that he committed perjury. I'm not saying they support it, but they accept that that witness committed perjury. They have to. Let me finish. There's no other way for them to move forward unless they say that wasn't perjury, but it was because he said that was fake. We know it wasn't fake. It was real. That was perjury. So by then moving forward with it, arguing that that tape is important for the prosecution, that Efron said these things, that when they cross-examined Sir that wasn't being a good friend to Efron because he made a tape. All that is doing is, I didn't say this is warning, it's different. I would never say that, I didn't say it yesterday. What it is doing is accepting it, because they didn't say, you know, we have an issue with this witness, he's committed perjury. I said they accepted that witnesses committing perjury. That witness committing perjury on that one issue. That's fair comment, Your Honor. It's not inappropriate. It wasn't disparaging counsel. I didn't say Mr. Lewin. I just said they accepted, and that is true. That there's no other way around it.
It is not fair comment. It is completely unethical.
Oh,
I agree with you.
So, Your Honor,
I agree with you.
What's frightening is Mr. TACOPINA just stood up here and basically defended, said, yeah, I said it, but I can say it. He doesn't know or care about the law. That is clear. And Your Honor, when it's happened 25 times in this trial, with the hiding of evidence, with the late discovery, and with repeated, you told counsel before we started, do not disparage the other side. I said yesterday, you argue what you want about witnesses. You say a witness lied. You do not disparage counsel. You repeated it yesterday. He tried to explain how he didn't make mistakes yesterday, which he did. Now he gets up and he's now admitted, yes, I made that comment, here's why it's appropriate. Your Honor, it's not appropriate. It's completely unethical. It is immoral, and it's not professional. And again, Your Honor, the fact that he is getting up here saying, well, yeah, I said it, here's why, just demonstrates again, he doesn't know the law or doesn't care.
You're disparaging him, right?
I'm disparaging him because, Your Honor, he's not following the
There
weirdness
does not to be any disparaging of either side.
During argument, the jury's not here. I have every right, obligation, and duty to stand up here and point out when he is being unethical. The first time the court catches me being unethical, Your Honor, the court knows that'll be the first time. The court knows I don't do that.
Oh,
court knows. Court's already made those findings.
I've heard enough from both of you. I missed the prosecution accepts their witness committing perjury. I don't think that's fair comment on the evidence. I think that's an improper statement. It infers that the prosecution is allowing perjury to occur. I'm going to sustain your objection, and I'm going to apologize for overruling it, and then move on. If I were the two of you, I would just move on and not make a bring it to the jury's attention. I would point out, though, I told you at the beginning of arguments that if an objection is made, I'm going to do my best to call it as I see it. You have made 17 objections. I have overruled 12. I have sustained 5. I'm doing the best I can. I will continue to do the best I can, and that's all I can say.
I just want to put on the record that these remarks about being unethical is not just about had it with him. This is from a lawyer who, and I was saying yesterday on it, this is from a lawyer who asked in front of a jury for a stipulation that a shooting range was not in California when either he knew it was in California or had no idea that it was in California. Okay? So he literally asked for a stipulation in front of a jury that he knew was not true or didn't know if it was true. And that's unethical. That's unethical. And this is a guy who, the Ninth Circuit just said lied to a jury in the Branford case.
Your Honor,
so I want to hear about him.
One more thing out of him, and we air everything that's happened in this case, which the court's aware of.
Stop.
He might want to stop.
I'm so threatened.
You should be, Joe.
Oh, yeah.
Let's take a break.
You should be.
The Ninth Circuit just said lied to a jury in the Branford case.
Your Honor,
so I want to hear about him.
One more thing out of him, and we air everything that's happened in this case, which the court's aware of.
Stop.
He might want to stop.
I'm so threatened.
You should be, Joe.
Oh, yeah.
Let's take a break.
You should be.
Don't tell the courts ever told me I was a liar.
Hold on, hold on. Hey!
Oh, yeah. I'm so scared of you.
Stop it!
From the ashes he arose. Never hate a friend of foes. Just a sub to art, not giving a fuck. Chasing down my goals. I self-law am master. Supernatural disaster. Metaphysical reaction. I am the flesh. I am the God. No one got the lab on lockdown. winters and cold summers. Black Force Ones when we slide in the streets. We all stay home at a club jumping. What up, cousin? I see you, fam. Throwing slime corners when I watch the trial. LEOs be capping, chatting action. Come and tap in the most interactive. I am the flesh. I am the God. I am the flesh. I am the God.
Lock every leg, gon' tap in. Gun play skin, every rap in. If you like us, gon' get the lights up. You can sub, you can share, tell them pack in. From the left, right, front to the passenger side. This right here, the premiere. How you know? Cause them boys broadcast to the live. Wanna talk about it, hit the link right here. Slide coins up, got 100 bands. Mars eyes, watch how the check. And the band made love do a bobblehead. Two bands do a dance like check. I'ma keep going till I'm motherfucking tired. You what? I'm motherfucking tired. Slide real eye, could we rain down game? Like, what you mean? Just watch the rise. Watch the rise. Watch the rise.
I am the flesh. I am the God. I am the flesh. I am the God.
Flesh and the God. I see one. I see one. I see one. I see one. I see one.
I am the flesh. I am the God. I am the flesh. I am the God.